So when I heard that Netflix were giving Dr. Spaceman from 30 Rock his own spin-off movie, I was super excited for that.
This is Dr. Leo Spaceman.
Then I realised it was actually an Adam Sandler project that had nothing to do with 30 Rock or Dr. Spaceman. It's actually Spaceman.
I just want to come home.
Directed by Johan Renck, I think that's how you pronounce it, who's probably best known for working in television shows such as Breaking Bad and Chernobyl. Adam Sandler's latest Netflix original joint is a little bit different than his previous Netflix movies. It's not a comedy, it's not murder mystery, it's not Hubie Halloween or anything like that. It's actually a fairly serious, if odd, kind of relationship drama.
You go where I go and I go where you go, right, Spaceman?
Sandler plays an astronaut called Jakob. He's 6 months into a year-long solo mission to the outer edges of our solar system to investigate a big purple space cloud dust thingy. He has daily chats back home with his wife, played by Carey Mulligan, and mission control buddy colleague called Peter. He's played by The Big Bang Theory's Kunal Nair. Everything is fine until all of a sudden he stops getting messages from his wife, from Carey Mulligan's Lenka. So the film cuts back and forth between Sandler on the spaceship and Lenka, his wife, at home. She's about 6 months pregnant or so, or maybe even further along than that. And it's at this point that things get a little bit weird. Now, you're going to have to stay with me for this next part. Don't switch off, it'll sound mental, but stick to the end. At this point, Sandler's character, Jakob, is joined on his spaceship by, I shit you not, a Labrador-sized talking spider, voiced by Paul Dano.
Do not be afraid. I'm losing my mind.
At this point, you'd be forgiven for thinking this was like a space horror movie, something like Alien, or more recently Life, but it's anything but. What follows is actually a fairly restrained, fairly touching and genuine like meditation on relationships, on the interplay between like humans and couples, how past events, past trauma can impact your current life. It's about loneliness, it's about human beings' fear of loneliness. The spider basically is acting like a therapist, like a counsellor to Adam Sandler's astronaut. As mental as that sounds, it actually kind of works quite well once you get past the initial absolute absurdity of it. Is the spider in his head, or is it real? They don't really answer that in the movie, so I think they leave it up to you. My opinion is that it's totally real. The spider is like a genuine space spider who is, good at relationship counselling. Yeah, that's more or less the plot. Like I said, it's a weird one. This is the Sandler that we've seen from Punch Drunk Love and from Uncut Gems. This is like Adam Sandler in serious mode, not in Zohan mode. It's a fairly subtle and restrained performance from Sandler. It reminds us that he's actually quite a good actor. He's not just a comedian and not just a comedic actor. He's got serious acting chops as well. Speaking of subtle, a wee sub to the channel would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Paul Dano plays the space spider therapist. He's kind of in like Fableman's nice guy mode as opposed to Riddler psycho mode. And his voice, his delivery, his voice performance, even though it's coming from a giant spider, is actually quite soothing. Mulligan and Nair are solid in their supporting roles back on Earth as the pregnant wife and the work colleague respectively. The look of the film as well is quite interesting and quite unique. It's obviously set like in the future at some point, or in like some sort of alternate reality or alternate version of our future, because they're in space and they're going to like the further reaches of space. But the tech that they use, the way it looks, it's quite retro looking. It looks kind of like 60s or 70s tech, but used in a modern setting to fly out to the edge of the solar system. It kind of reminded me of the Loki TV series in that way. It's obviously sci-fi, but it's quite retro looking as well, and that's an interesting feel to it. The politics and the commercialization of space travel in this world is worth mentioning as well. the entire mission, the spaceship, the outfits, you know, like the tools, the toilets, the food and the medicine that the astronaut, that Adam Sandler's astronaut takes, is all like sponsored to within an inch of its life. It's kind of like, you know, the UFC version of space travel. Like everything, every possible part of it is sponsored. Like Sandler has to say catchphrases when he uses, like, you know, a bit of food or a bottle of water or, you know, a tablet or something like that, which is, you know, probably indicative of the future of actual space travel. Time will tell. The score as well was quite good. That did stand out to me. It's by Max Richter, who did brilliant work on Arrival as well on the score. There's a cue towards the end of the movie that's already made its way into my Spotify playlist of movie scores. So that's a standout of the movie as well. As absurd as it is, you know, a solo astronaut talking to a dog-sized spider and getting relationship advice from said spider, it actually has quite intelligent things to say about relationships, about like self-sabotage, about, you know, loneliness and the fear of it. As I said, yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. It's kind of like Moon meets Marriage Story meets Loki. Yeah, as odd as it sounds, that's probably fairly accurate. I actually quite enjoyed this one. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I think you need to be in a certain mood to enjoy this one. But I did enjoy it, and I think I was in the mood for this type of movie. You know, when I sat and watched it. You know, if you're up for something that's a little bit weird, with, you know, a really good central performance, then yeah, Spaceman starring Netflix. Spaceman starring Adam Sandler is on Netflix right now. I think I'm going to go with 7 out of 10, which is quite generous. I think it's yeah, I enjoyed it. It won't be everyone's cup of tea, but yeah, I quite liked it. That's it, folks. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, you can always subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.